All right, guys, hi. Thank you for joining me here today. I'm Dorothy, your professional astrologer. So I want to talk about January for the month, but before I do that, I just want to let you know, if you haven't signed up for my email list, amongst the new people who go to my website, nhastrologer.com, and join my email list for my newsletter, of the new people who do that, I am picking 3 people every month for a 20-minute session free with me. So go to nhastrologer.com and sign up there if you would like to be part of that. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I put up lots of videos every single month and you are notified when they are up. So let's get started. I want to talk about, for this month, 3 things, because otherwise these videos just get way too long. So I have 3 things that I've chosen out of the month, and there's always a ton more that I want to talk to you guys about in the general sense. So I'm going to give you that general information right now. And the second piece of each video will be where these things are going on and influencing you for each of your zodiac signs. I also like to pull an oracle card or 2. I might just do that too for each sign for the month of January. All right, so let me get started with what's going on here. So I got my notes in front of me. It's a big whiteboard. See? Talking about being authentic. Very important to be authentic right now. It's always important to be our true selves anyways. This is me. I'm not going to be anybody I'm not. When we live in our own authenticity, we live true to ourselves, you know, the energy, life just flows a whole lot better. And I know that just my own life experience has proven that to myself. So one of the first things I'm going to talk about, I'll tell you really quick. Mercury retrograde, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about Jupiter retrograde and as it makes its conjunction to the North Node, the lunar node, on the day it goes retrograde. And then if I'm not running too long, I'm going to talk about Venus and Sag. Okay, so Mercury. Mercury's retrograde January 7th all the way through January 26th. Now, it starts its retrograde motion in the sign of Aquarius. It will only be at 0 degrees of Aquarius, but it will be at that degree for a whole week. And so we're getting to start off a retrograde. Retrogrades, you know, the day that, especially Mercury or any planet, truly, when they go retrograde, the day that they're retrograde, and even the day that they're direct, they're at a standstill from our perspective here on this planet. And you know, the energy of that just means that what it means is nothing's moving. Nothing will move. It's stopped. It's like us when we're in our car. You know, there's that dead stop before we go the next direction. So Mercury tends to be very free-flowing, great for gathering information. It's very lighthearted, very easy, kind of like the butterfly, because we're describing, you know, Mercury in its natural rulership of Gemini. Now, with it in Aquarius, as it goes retrograde, again being in 1 degree for a whole week as opposed to a single day like it usually is, lots of communication issues are just going to go hit a standstill. And whether this means that, whether it's communication and, you know, phones just go bad, computers go haywire for a little bit, or if we look at the other aspect of Mercury, transportation and movement. So wherever you live, there could be some weather. You know, I live in the northern hemisphere, so I'm looking at, you know, probably some bad weather that week, just that will keep us home a little more so we're not moving out and about as much, okay? So don't take this as the end of the world by any means, but there will definitely take this whole week, especially the first week of January, it'll take a little while for us to get rolling on what this Mercury energy is really wanting to produce. It's not going to produce much in Aquarius. What it will do when it moves into the sign of Capricorn, somewhere around the 10th, once it moves into the sign of Capricorn, like 29 degrees, 28, it's backing all the way up to 14 degrees of Capricorn, which is where those cardinal planets have been, you know, right around 13, 14, 15 degrees for months and years on end, right? And that tells me that we got some more cardinal cross, cardinal T-square things happening, and this is the case. So later in the month, this will take a little while, but on January 20th, Mercury makes a square aspect to Uranus, and then on the 22nd and the 30th, it conjuncts Pluto. Now, it conjuncts Pluto as a retrograde planet on the 22nd and as a direct planet on the 30th. So what do these two things mean? And I'm going to get to where it is for each of the signs in just a second, so hang on. With Mercury making a square aspect to Uranus, this is communication, especially as a retrograde planet. You know, there's just going to be, we're going to be getting weird emails, we're going to be getting weird messages, we're going to be getting stuff that is just through the roof very different. Now, Aquarius and Uranus rules Aquarius. Since Mercury started its retrograde in that sign, and the planet that is the ruler of gets an aspect from Mercury, you know, we're going to, you know, we feel like we need to move and we need to do something. This could be a pretty tricky retrograde this time around. If you have electronics, this is one of the times, because Aquarius rules those things. I would recommend before we go retrograde, so you're going to hear this ahead of time because I have it up in December. For those of you lucky enough to see it ahead of time, definitely back up your electronics and keep an eye on them. You know, fix things, renew things, do what you need to do to keep things in alignment and up to date. And that's really important. And that's that Mercury square Uranus, all right, January 20th. And we're going to feel that a few days on either side of that date, okay? And that's the day that the sun enters Aquarius as well. So I'm telling you, it's going to be an interesting day on January 20th. There's just going to be a lot of rocking and rolling going on. And I'll be there to see it too. We'll let each of us know how that happens. Fill me in when you get a chance if you like. Then on the 22nd and on the 30th, when Mercury does make this conjunction to Pluto, you know, whatever we were doing that went through a major shakeup or just, you know, amazing news. I mean, this can even be amazing news. Don't take shakeups as something that's negative all the time, you know, with that Uranus energy. On the 22nd, when it does conjunct Pluto, there could be a very deep transformation. It's like, okay, so I have this new information. What do I do with it now? All right, what do I do with it now? And this is how we look at it. And on the 22nd, all the way through the 30th, Mercury will just be in conjunction with Pluto that whole time, within a few degrees either side. And so we are changing and transforming how we see things and how we feel about something and how we're presenting that out in our immediate environment. Because Mercury is in charge of the immediate environment as well as the communication piece that everybody speaks about. So if you don't know enough about Mercury, go search it out and you'll get lots of good information about that. So next step is what is going on in what house. So, and the houses will be representative of your zodiac sign. So that is next. So I want you also to know that January 5th is when Mercury actually is retrograde. It's not retrograde on the 7th. It is retrograde on the 7th, but the day it goes retrograde is January 5th. And all of this Capricorn energy and everything I've just mentioned is all originating from your 4th house, and that's the area of home and family, where we feel secure at home, how we feel secure at home, how we're nurtured and cared for, and how we care for and nurture our family. So that is the added piece that you get with Libra rising, okay? Because that's for you, Libra. And let me move on. The next aspect I'm talking about here is Jupiter. Jupiter in Virgo is retrograde on January 7th. On that day, when it makes its retrograde, it is stationary pretty much right with the North Node, that lunar, the moon's node, and that represents our higher path, destiny in a way, what we're here to do. And while in the natal chart, it truly represents the life path as it's transiting, and we're already here. What it can do is it gives us that collective shift. And those nodes are set up by eclipses, and this one was set up by an eclipse back in September. And so the eclipse that, you know, happened then, we have similar energy going on now because Jupiter's moving over that point and is the node, the North Node. So what does that mean? First off, that means there is this feeling right now that if you're somewhere you're not supposed to be, you feel like you should be doing something else. You feel like you should be taking another step towards something, whatever's important for you, whatever your spirit is telling you. Because for you, Libra, this is going on in your solar 12th house. So with Jupiter transiting the 12th house, spirituality, hidden things, hidden gifts, hidden fears, all of these things can come to the surface. I love it when Jupiter's in here. It is a ruler, it is one of the rulers, that and Neptune, of the 12th house. And so Jupiter in there, the North Node in there, that means the eclipses were in there. One of the eclipses in September was in there. So you Libras have this time, especially Libra rising, this is a period in your evolution where it's time to step it up and become more spiritual and release some of the more physical things that are kind of holding you back. All right? You should know what that means. And if you don't, I'm at NHastrologer.com, and you can contact me for your own private session. Now, with this as well, we also get inspiration. We also feel with Neptune, with the Neptunian sector, that 12th house being activated with Jupiter, we can really see the bigger picture and feel like there are no boundaries. Sometimes we can feel like we're really holding ourselves within. So there's great opportunities here for you, Libra, to take the expansive nature of this, even though it is retrograde, and then take the energy of that life path position and step up to something that you're being asked to step up to. And I do have another video on Jupiter in Virgo through each of the houses. So I will put a link up right about wherever I'm talking right now. There'll be a link that comes up, and you'll be able to click on that, and it'll take you right to that video here on my channel as well. All right, moving on. We have Neptune in the sign of Sag through the month, right? And most of the month. It shifts into the next sign late in the month. But needless to say, Venus in Sagittarius is very fun when we're in a love relationship. You know, it's fun, it's adventurous. Let's just go with that and have some fun. If we're looking at what we value, those things are going through a nice little upgrade as well. You know, we just want to spend money on the things that we love to have, right? But somewhere in there, it makes this month of January, it makes a conjunction to Saturn. And when Saturn's involved, Saturn will put some restrictions on things. It'll slow things down so we can make better decisions. Now, we also feel like we might need to commit. Whatever that is for you, commit in a relationship. If you're not already in a serious one, you might want to. Or the person you're dating might be asking you to commit. You may ask someone to commit to a relationship out of fear of being alone. Who knows, right? You know. And so this is the energy of what's going on, and this goes on in your solar third house. So specifically for Libra, this just means that you really should communicate what's going on here. Communicate who it is you're involved with. Communicate even to yourself, or sit down and decide what it is that you value and what you don't value. That Saturn always kind of trims the fat. Removes things that we don't need. So let's work on those pieces. Now, I left my cards right over there, so I'm going to grab my cards. Hold on a second. I'm going to pull 2 cards for you guys, because I've been meaning to, and I forgot to do it before I started the recording. So let me shuffle, and 2 cards. And so far, with me doing these forecasts the way I have been so far today, they all come to, the cards that are coming up seem to be related to Saturn. So, and oh, how sweet. You guys love relationships. You're the Libra sign, and so what we get is we got the card. This is John Holland's deck. It's a great deck. I like it. It's a good oracle deck. Love begins. So that's perfect. So if you're out playing, having fun, and you're a single person, you just might meet the person that you're looking for. If we're out doing what we love, you know, living in that heart space, living in the present moment, which is all that Virgo energy of Jupiter and the North Node, being very present and very aware. We're not constantly looking into the future for, you know, our love relationship that we're not in. Being present, you actually might find somebody. I know, huh? And then the other card is positive movement forward. So that, again, just reiterates what I just said. Take your time. Get out there. Be very present. And you're able to take those steps forward. We're encouraging you to take those steps forward, especially since the real mystical energy of what I'm focusing on this time around for you, Libra, is in that really that mystic place, that very much about spirit and knowing no boundaries. All right, So thank you very much for watching. Please come to my website. I teach online classes, private sessions, and I have a mentorship program that is starting. Wherever you start, it'll be your 6 months, but this first 6 months, I'm trying to get a few people in January. It's a 6-month mentorship program, one-on-one studies with me on Skype and phone. And email me if you're interested in that. I have 8 openings altogether for the whole time period, because that's all my schedule can handle. So if you want to get in on one-on-one private sessions with me, email me and let me know what you think. Right through my website, nhastrologer.com. Thank you very much. And yes, lots of love. Namaste.